So till now we have been discussing about the confusion matrix, the various values, the true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative, and all the values we fill in the confusion matrix for every class. But this video is about how do you obtain those values, alright? So how do we obtain those values as well as after obtaining the different metrics, the accuracy, the precision, the F1, the recall, whatever it is, how do you compare the different models? So this video is about ROC curve. Let me share my screen. So hi. Okay, and hey, I observed like 80% of my viewers are not my subscribers. So this is very absurd, weird, and as well as fascinating. So why don't you subscribe? Hit the subscribe button. You will get timely notifications of what I post, what I'm about to post, what I'm into, what I'm about to be sharing. Just hit the subscribe button and you'll get the timely notifications. Just let me share my screen. So today's topic is ROC AOC curve. It has two aspects. It has importance of thresholding as well as model selection and comparison. That is the main purpose it solves. The key terms you need to learn are TPR, specificity, and FPR. What is TPR? Recall sensitivity. This is basically the true positive rate. What is the true positive rate? The total number of true positive divided by the actual number of positives are there. So true positive is the actual positive, and the actual positives, true positive, and the negatives, the ones which were predicted negative were not actually negative. So what is that? That is false negative. So true positive by true positive plus false negative. That justifies TPR. What is specificity? If you look at the formula, it is true negative by true negative plus false positive. What is true negative? True negative are the actual negative classes. And what is false positive? The ones which were actually negative but have been predicted as false, has been predicted as positive. So you can say that it is true negative rate. And what is the opposite of true negative rate? False positive rate. Just flip the terms. True's opposite is false, negative's opposite is positive, rates is rate. So if you, this is basically a probability value, right? This is a decimal value, fraction value, which lies between 0 to 1. So find the opposite of a value which lies between 0 to 1, subtract it from 1, you get the false positive rate. So 1 was true negative rate, subtract it from 1, you get the false positive rate. That's the justification and the idea of the entire formula. And that simplifies the learning. Proceeding to the main crux of the concept. What is ROC used for? So this is basically what an ROC curve looks like. You plot the true positive rate, you plot the false positive rate. Here you obtain the different models, the performance of different models, and the higher the performance, the better it is. So let me show my pointer, and here it is. So a model over here is considered an extremely bad model, zero performance. Is the perfect ideal, what do you say, utopian model. This one is a random model, and these ones are the practical ones. So higher you go and are starting achieving the perfect state, the better the model is. Okay, now you have obtained, you were comparing three different models. You have obtained the ROC plot. You have understood which one to pick. So you were model A, model B, model C. You picked one. So after picking one, which one? What should be the threshold? Okay, why okay. So let's stop here. Okay, model comparison picking was one thing. What is thresholding? What is thresholding? What is thresholding? So you're like predicting something that is always comes with a default thresholding of 0.5. You say, okay, anything above 0.5 is class A, anything beyond 0.5 is class B. So if the prediction value is 0.51 confidence, if a prediction value is 0.51 confidence, so you're like, okay, it might rain today with a possibility of 51%, not very confident. You would say, okay, if you have to report me with a confidence of anything above 70% or above 80%. So that's what thresholding is. So you try to cut off some values, or if you say, okay, report me all the values, all your possibilities. So you would say, okay, report me anything above 30%. So you try to include all the possible values. There is what thresholding is, and that is how you obtain a ROC curve. Comparing ROC curves is a different thing, but how do you obtain? These are different threshold values. So which threshold value to pick depends upon your use case. Are you concerned with minimizing the true positives? Are you concerned with minimizing the false positives? Or minimizing the, are you concerned with minimizing the false positives, or are you concerned with minimizing the true false negatives? Or you're looking for a balance between them? If you're looking for a balance between them, that is where F1 score comes in. Yeah. So these are two distributions. Why there's an overlap and why is red dominating the blue? Don't get confused. This is basically this particular curve belongs to red region, this particular curve belongs to blue region. If still confuses you, look at this. This is the ideal case of thresholding. Two classes, you make a threshold like, okay, anything beyond this is positive, anything beyond this is negative, no false positive, no false negative. This is a perfect ideal classifier, never ever achievable. This is the poorest of the classifier, is unable to distinguish what is true negative, what is the positive distribution, what is the negative distribution, and there's an overlap, complete overlap, AOC 0.5. Reverse classification, unable to distinguish, rather is reverse predicting. And if it is reverse predicting, then what happens? What happens is whatever was class A, it predicts as class B, whatever was class B, it predicts as class A. This is what we actually obtain. So let's understand this thing in a depth. Yeah. So this is like my negative distribution, this is my positive distribution. Anything right to the threshold is a positive thing, anything to the left of threshold is a negative thing. So this was actually the negative distribution, everything becomes a true negative. This was a positive distribution, everything becomes a false negative. Obviously, because it was positive, but it has been detected as predicted as negative, left of threshold, but the kind of prediction is false, so it is false negative. You decrease the threshold. Now this was positive, so also predicted as positive because to the right of the threshold, so you say it is true positive, and the rest of the distribution remains the same, quite same. Now you decrease it till a bit further, increases the number of true positive samples and decreases the false negative samples, as well as introduces false positive, because this particular region was belonging to the negative class but has been predicted positive, so you would say that this is false positive, predicted positive but was actually belonging to negative class, so the type of prediction is false. And so goes for the false negative. Alright, you decrease it further, you further change the false positive, false negative rate, you decrease further, now you have decreased to such an extent that everything to the right is true positive, being correctly detected, everything to the left is actually true negative, correctly detected, but now you have a high number of false positive rates. Okay, so when do you use this particular scenario and when do you use this particular scenario? So this is quite useful when you are not willing to obtain any kind of false positives. Okay, you're not willing to obtain any kind of false positives, you increase the threshold to a great extent. However, you would be missing out on some predictions or majority of the prediction. So an absolute, a better value would be an optimal value rather than a very high threshold. So goes for this particular scene. If you are not willing to obtain minimizing the false negative, you decrease the threshold. So this ultimately comes down to recall, and this comes down to the former case was for precision. I hope it clarifies, justifies the concept to a great extent. And this particular thing, this is like what happens if the curves are like this. How do you compare? Then comes the concept of area under the curve. Either you can directly inspect or you can find the area, obtain the area under the curve and directly compare. I think this justifies the concept to a great extent. If you have any confusion, doubt, dilemma, whatever it is, just hit me up in the comment section. I will be more than happy to help you out. Alright, take care. Bye-bye.